Hello, and welcome to another session of Recent Thoughts. Today we're going to be talking about nostalgia. And I have so many thoughts about nostalgia. I'm very pumped for it. Without further ado, feel free to put me in the background as always. This is pretty much just a small 15-minute podcast of what my opinions are on certain topics. So feel free to enjoy it, put it in the background, whatever you want to do. I have my timer set on 15 minutes right now in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, cool. 15 minutes to talk about nostalgia. Now, nostalgia, I'll say that I've been feeling it a lot lately. You don't feel nostalgia you don't feel nostalgia as much as when you are already, grown up, above 18 or even above 16, right? Everything below that is pretty much your childhood. Now, whatever you had or you did in your childhood, you remember it, and it reminds you of a lot of things now. It can happen literally with anything. For example, it's very weird how I literally remember, I get a nostalgic feeling out of warming up a bit of noodles, and I kid you not, it's very weird, I'm sorry, but whenever I have warm noodles with like a bit of butter and salt, that's the dish that my grandma always used to make for me when I was at her house when I was little, and it just reminds me so much of that time. It's not the dish as is. It's the taste. Nostalgia can come in a lot of forms, I would say. For example, taste. But also music. Listening to nostalgic music. Have you ever listened to Fireflies and not felt the nostalgia? Obviously if you're over 18, but have you never felt like you've been of course you like, if you are like me, I'm 18 years old. That song was written before I was even alive, I think, so I can't really tell, but I remember a lot of people liking it at that time when I was small, so obviously I would feel like that too, and it just, don't you feel like it's a bit nostalgic, even if you've never listened to it? If we stay on the topic of music, nostalgic songs, pretty much old pop songs, old Kanye West songs, old fucking, I don't know, Lady Gaga songs, like this shit just feels so nostalgic to me. That was like 2012 music, 2010 music. I was 8 at that time, so I didn't really listen to it, but it reminds people of a simpler life, of a life without any worries, without, as a child, pretty much. For me, it used to be Hurt from God. I don't remember the name anymore. That's pretty embarrassing, but that song I listened to when I was little. Obviously, I didn't really, I didn't listen to it because I was depressed and shit. But just listening to that just wakes up the feeling of fuck, I'm old. Or same with don't get me wrong, feeling nostalgic doesn't mean a negative feeling that you're feeling old, but for example, remembering your childhood through a game, for example. Like, think of a game that you've played. If you're a gamer, think of a game that you've played when you were little. For me, it was always Lego Star Wars, the Lego Star Wars games, the complete saga. I've recently been replaying it, and oh my god, I feel so happy with this game. Whenever I play this game, I'm just remembering the old times when I used to play this on my fucking old MacBook. Like, you don't know how fat it was. The MacBook was so incredibly fat. The only thing I could play on it was this game or Terraria on 2 FPS. So obviously I played this. Or take Star Wars Kinect for the Xbox 360, for example. That was nostalgic as hell. Also, like, I wasn't into Star Wars a lot, but like, for example, even I've been like, even rebuilding some Lego stuff, right? Feels so, I would say, so close to your heart because you've, as a child, you've done that, and it's a pretty good feeling. If I would think about another game that I had nostalgia about, and it's pretty weird because I don't know a lot of people that played it, was the Cars game. Cars, the game like from fucking like 2011 maybe, or 2010. I can remember having my small wheel playing this on my fucking old ass computer. Weird thing is, I remember my mom practicing for her fucking driver's license while playing this game. So she played this game just to practice it, which, obviously wasn't very good because, the AI in this game wasn't particularly, I would say, intelligent. they didn't care about any fucking rules. And it's such a warm, I would say, it's not, because you can categorize a happy feeling a lot of times, or you can categorize it a lot. You can categorize it as a feeling of joy. You can categorize it as a feeling of laughter, or generally like something funny that's good. But for me, it's like this warm feeling in your chest. It's less remembering what it was and more, I would say, embracing what you've been. For me, it's been hard to have that, or to do that, because I don't particularly have good memories of my childhood. But whenever I played games or whenever I listened to music, I just felt, I just lived, and I felt myself, I guess. Same goes with movies. I can remember watching The Martian. It's not a very old movie as well, but I can remember watching it almost every single day in high school, when I was like 14 or 15, 16, I don't remember. But the reason for that is not because I liked it so much, which I did, but not because of that, but because that's the only thing I had on my phone. And it's very weird thinking back, because I really do want to revisit that film. I have not watched this movie for such a long time. But also, it can nostalgia can reawaken the child in you, or at least the feelings that you felt before. Try it. Literally try. If you've not, think of a game. For example, it was for me, it was Galaxy on Fire 2 as well. I remember playing this on my iPhone 4. My fucking iPhone 4. And I loved it. I was in choir classes when I was small, and we always used to, take little trips, for like half a week or a week. And I remember distinctively playing this game. I've never had this connection to any Mario games, because in my childhood I've never had any Mario game, but I'm slowly coming into that mood as well, which is very, very weird. I realize that I've drifted off into gaming more than I have drifted off into nostalgia. because I realize because I realize that not all people take nostalgia from games or from music. Nostalgia is, for example, doing something that you've done in your childhood, but then completely stopped doing. Um, Let me remember, actually, because I remember playing with a lot of, for example, revisiting friends, meeting friends that you've met when you were a child, when you were small, and then reliving those moments as well. It feels like a midlife crisis almost. Like, nostalgia, in my opinion, is nothing else but a midlife crisis for teenagers or for people that want to remember and go back to that warm feeling. I wouldn't consider trauma to be nostalgic, or anything negative, because nostalgia just has such a positive connotation that being annoyed by a person or something doesn't make it nostalgic because you don't want to remember it, right? So I would just discard that idea at all. But the thing is that, like, my recommendation for people, if you want to feel nostalgia, listen to and I'm not kidding. Listen to fucking, how's it called? Smash Mouth, the fucking Shrek song. You don't know how much nostalgia this awakens inside of me. Or, for example, relive those moments. Rewatch old movies. Rewatch Pixar 1. Sorry, Toy Story 1, not Pixar 1. Rewatch Toy Story 1. Rewatch Cars. Rewatch old movies that you've watched as a kid. Rewatch Spirited Away. Spirited Away, the Ghibli films, were absolutely astounding. And I distinctively remember watching them and then, dreaming about the movies. I don't know exactly what I dreamt about, but I did, wake up with a good feeling. Because I'm a cave dweller, pretty much. I stayed home for a good big period in my life, I would say. I mainly associate these feelings with games, movies, music, but I'm sure people can relive those moments elsewise. For example, for people that paint, artists, pretty much, try using the same, and I mean, try using the same, like, color, the same dye or the same brush as you did when you were small, and try to remember how exactly it felt when you were doing your first painting. Or for musicians as well, replay songs, or for example, I've found a nice little song on a sheet of paper a couple of weeks ago, and I replayed it on my piano, and I remembered how hard I studied it just to get it right, and then being able to replay it in an amount of minutes. It's a very nice feeling, and it's a good, you can remember it, and then you remember that you've evolved so much over the years. That's kind of the feeling after nostalgia. It feels good to remember back, but now I'm even more pumped for the future. For example, like, it sounds so childish, but for example, I've been replaying Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga. But now, because of that, I am so pumped for the new Star Wars games to come out, or Lego Star Wars games, because I want to relive that same thing, but new. And you, I would say. It's a very special feeling. It's one of the most positive feelings that you can feel just as is, without love or without, anything like that. You just feel good. All right, I see that we have 40 seconds left. So I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you a lot for listening to whatever my bullshit brain wants to speak. I hope you enjoyed this session. I surely did. I did a lot. It was very nice reliving those moments. Even now I relive just, recording old videos, recording videos that don't need a lot of effort, which is nice. So yeah, we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. Awesome. There you go. All right. Again, I sincerely thank you for listening to the session. I hope you had fun doing whatever you were doing. I'll see you in the next session. Goodbye.